Welcome back. Gibraltar's British armed forces are historically a source of revenue for the Rock. But with their imminent departure, Gibraltar is looking at ways to make up for that. It hopes to sell itself as an offshore banking haven and as a perfect holiday destination. But Susan Yu tells us how Spain's political pressures threaten the colony's more unconventional tourist attractions. And she ventures into Spanish territory to find out why some Spaniards are interested in the Rock from more of an economic standpoint.
There's a lot of history all over Gibraltar. You've got to remember that it's been a fortified place and a defended place for 12 centuries. It's been involved in major conflicts for all that time.
Well, from here we can have a very good view.
Lionel Colato knows the ins and outs of Gibraltar's signature Northern Defence's tunnels. It's a pastime for the barrister, who doubles as one of the Rock's most avid conservationists.
Through where the gallery is now was the main medieval entrance up to the town. Right, here we are at the beginning of King's Gallery. Now, King's Gallery is actually parallel to King's Lines. King's Lines is in the open air. King's Gallery is inside the Rock. So if King's Lines is bombarded, then the soldiers in King's Lines would retire into King's Gallery and be totally under the protection of the Rock. The Star Chamber is the focal point of a lot of the galleries in here. And it was used in the Second World War as headquarters for various regiments. In particular, the 2nd Battalion, the King's Regiment, had the battalion headquarters here in 1941, as you can see from what they put there. And you can imagine all these rooms where the various officers would have been. Right? And this was the battalion headquarters for that regiment during the Second World War. A lot of, as I've mentioned before, a lot of the galleries here are named after rooms in the Palace of Westminster. And this is one in particular, the Star Chamber. And you can see there it's 1790. But here it's quite convenient to see that every machine gun position, there's this card on the wall, painted on the wall, showing the view from this particular position.
Every machine gun position would have a drawing.
That's right, and showing exactly where he's pointing, what area he's covering. So that if all the machine guns are firing at the same time, the theory is every square inch is covered.
But there's one thing these tunnels can't protect.
And at the moment, most of the sites available for tourism in Gibraltar are not available, in the sense that they're closed for tourists. They haven't been refurbished and restored or anything. Then you realize that the time of the politicians is being spent on the Spanish problem. And Gibraltar's problem, its heritage and all the rest of it, seems takes second place. And that is one of the problems we have. If Spain were to stop harassing us, then we could get on with doing something with Gibraltar.
Boosting conservation and tourism haven't been easy. Gibraltar's airport is an attraction in itself. Cars and pedestrians share the runway. About 72,000 people arrive every year by air. But many believe the airport can serve as a better gateway if direct air links with Spain, which were cut in 1978, were restored. But Gibraltar's woes with Spain aren't confined to the Rock. Luckily, though, there are a number of tourist sites intact and in place, at least for now. Gibraltar's unique history and geography aren't the only attractions. Another source of income for the tourism industry is off the Rock and in the Straits.
They're becoming a tourist attraction now. There are about 29 stations in and around the world that actually follow and watch cetaceans. And it has become an ecotourism industry in other parts of the world. It's become an ecotourism industry here in Gibraltar itself, but it's little known.
Eric Shore captains the Nemo, Gibraltar's only dolphin marine research vessel. On this afternoon, about 70 dolphins are spotted. Shore says it's not the 7,000 commercial ships that pass through the Straits every year that threaten these creatures. It's Spain's non-recognition of Gibraltar's waters.
Commercial fishing with nets is totally and utterly banned in the territorial waters of Gibraltar. Ostensibly, it is a marine reserve and a declared marine reserve. However, we still do get Spanish nationals that do come into our waters, set their nets, and obviously try to take the fish, which is a threat to the dolphin as well. You know, politics is politics.
It's clear, though, that politics so far hasn't affected Spain. Gibraltar has been the window for opportunities for Spaniards, with 2,000 finding jobs in the Rock. Gibraltar attracts about 6 million tourists a year, and it's not unusual for most to make a day trip into Spain.
And when you have border problems, do you think that that's going to cause more problems for Spain?
No.
Why is that?
Because the Spaniards who work in Gibraltar are very free to do so, or to in the existing conditions, or to find work in Spain or whatever. I mean, it's has never crossed anybody's mind, I think.
It hasn't crossed Madrid's mind.
Certainly not.
So what do those living next door to Gibraltar think?
Do you think Gibraltar should go back to Spain?
I think so, because Gibraltar people like Spain very much. So I think and we earn a lot of money. So I think it would be a good thing.
Oh, so you think Gibraltar will be able to make money for the country?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that?
I don't know, because there are a lot of Spanish people who work in Gibraltar. So they give us work, so we earn a lot of money.
Politically, Gibraltar is English, but geographically it's Spanish. And I think that colonially is not of this time.
I wanted the peace where Gibraltar belonged to Spain, you know. No colony in Europe, only Gibraltar.
Many aren't surprised the older generation and the younger generation see eye to eye on the Gibraltar issue. The answer is clear for them here in this Spanish town. It's not about politics, it's all about national pride.
I'm not surprised at all because we Spaniards are proud. We want to get what is ours, what belongs to us. And this rock, 5 square kilometers, belong to us, even if it is whole.
Perhaps what's also not surprising is how the name of this town originated. La Línea means the line. Back in 1830, when Gibraltar was officially declared a colony, La Línea also officially became the frontier between Spain and the Rock.